Good morning, Steve. How are you doing today?
Good, Melanie. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. How was
Good.
your weekend?
It was good. It was pretty full.
Yeah.
Outdoors an awful lot, yeah. So,
Oh, so full with good, nurturing, fulfilling, meaningful kinds of things?
yes, I like to have my weekends full. So on Sunday night, when I reflect upon it, I can think, wow, did I ever do a lot this weekend? So it
Nice.
was a good weekend for that.
Good. Feeling refreshed for the week ahead?
Yes, because the next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be fairly traumatizing, right? There's going to be a lot of
Yeah.
things happening.
Yeah. So here we are, beginning of September. September starts tomorrow, and you're absolutely right. I've been talking to so many people, hearing so many things about this particular back to school year,
Yes,
unlike any other.
yes.
And like you're mentioning, different people are thinking different things about this reentry into school, this bringing on of the fall, this going into another season.
Yeah.
And I've been really interested in that, Steve, because it brings me back to the idea or to the fact that all of us are operating on what I call, or what is called, sorry, by everybody, core beliefs.
Yes.
And I believe that those core beliefs will and do influence what we expect from ourselves, from other people, and from the world.
Oh, absolutely.
So in cognitive behavioral therapy, it's believed that we all have core beliefs that were formed very early in life. And they
Okay.
were formed based on what we were told about ourselves, what we experienced with ourselves and others in the world, what we learned about ourselves and others in the world. Um, and many of the core beliefs that we formed were based on what we needed to believe so that we could act in a certain way in interaction with our environment. So, for example, a core belief that I am shy might have allowed me to be seen in a certain way, like being a shy girl, and it might have allowed me to get out of some stuff. So my parents might have said, "Oh no, I'm not going to make Melanie, go to the store and buy me the groceries because she's shy."
Yeah.
So it was rewarding for me in a way that I didn't have to do certain jobs, but I could, maybe do other jobs that I preferred. And so these core beliefs affect the way we feel, and then they affect our behavior or our actions. And so,
Oh,
yeah, when I come back to what the reactions and the responses and the comments that people are making about going back into the school year, it really reminds me that people are acting on what they believe about
yeah.
themselves and the world.
Oh, yes, and I actually feel like, as we discussed, I think people are really paying attention to their core beliefs, and I think some people their beliefs are being challenged. They're looking
Yes.
at it entirely different.
Yes.
Maybe the world isn't as the way I always thought it was.
Yeah. One thing that coronavirus has done for us, this pandemic, is it has given us the opportunity to stop and really think about the beliefs that we hold very deeply. Because before the coronavirus, I don't know about you, but I was comfortably just moving along the way I always have, doing the things I've always done, not really having to examine why I was doing them or with whom I was doing them or when I was doing them. I just did. But the
Yeah,
coronavirus stopped all of that for all of us in different ways, but all of us have had that experience of being stopped from our regular routine. And we've really had to look inside like, okay, well, what does this really mean for me? And how are my beliefs being challenged? And maybe my beliefs aren't really working for me anymore anyways.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think the whole world's topsy-turvy here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Like one of the beliefs that I have had challenged is buying things make me feel good.
yes,
Or buying things make me a better person. Having the better stuff makes me a better person. Well, everything shut down and I wasn't able to buy stuff, to get that stress relief or to
yeah,
get that sense of value.
yes,
And so, I had to turn to other things and other people that were available to me, like my family.
yes. Oh, yeah, yeah,
And that changed that core belief for me. I don't need stuff. I don't need to purchase and to show or to believe or feel that I have value.
Which actually goes against the grain of what our society wants us to believe in, right? I mean,
Right.
our whole economy is based on consumerism.
Yes.
So I think that's a really good example because I think all of us have sort of sat down and examined that, and do I
Yeah.
really need to buy this? How is it going to help me? Or,
Yeah.
some things I just don't need to purchase anymore because I don't use them.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
But it gave me time to think about that.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Whether you liked it or not, it gave us all time to
Yes.
think about those things. Yeah. So, I want to just make sure people know we have positive core beliefs as well. And those positive core beliefs lend into positive emotions and positive actions. So me believing that, I am a strong, resilient woman, I can make good decisions, allows me to feel then confident and reassured about my decisions, and allows me to then make decisions that are healthy and helpful for me. It's really the negative ones that can cause concern, and especially if we don't know what they are. We've got these thoughts going on in our head all the time, and even without knowing it, we can be faced with a situation and be affected by this core belief of, well, I can't do that. I'm not smart enough for that. Or, nothing ever good ever happens to me in this world. Or I'm going to louse that up. I'm going to fail at that.
Yeah.
And then all of those, even without realizing it, lend into us feeling, depressed,
Mm-hmm.
fearful, uncertain, ashamed, which then leads into actions that aren't very helpful. So we get into unhealthy relationships, or we, make the decision to not even bother sanitizing our hands because we're just going to get sick, or we're going to just, not survive anyways. And, just different things, like different actions that can just be very unhelpful and very negative, not only to us, but to our relationships to people around us.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, those core beliefs that we're born with and that we grow up with, they are very rigid because they were formed so early, but they're not set in stone. We can change them, as we've been talking. These big world events force us to change our core beliefs because we realize that what we've been doing hasn't been working in this current situation. We got to do something different.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And like you were saying, Steve, a lot of the folks that you've been talking with is realizing, yeah, like there's something else. And so they're developing these different beliefs about themselves. Like, the men, the dads that you have been talking about, saying, I bought into this whole idea that my job as a father was just to work, 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 work. But now that I haven't worked, I've been laid off, or I've been working from home, or my hours are slightly less, I've realized that being a father is more than working.
Yes, absolutely.
And I
And I
love
think, I
that.
think for a lot of people that have been, because we've always been conditioned to, grow up, go to school, get a job, get married, start a family. And
Yeah.
I think now people are saying, well, hang on a second here, right? I was led to believe, I thought I was doing the right thing, but is it? Is it the right thing?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people, I think, Melanie, also identify themselves not so much by their core beliefs, by the roles that they play
Yes.
in life, right? So as a father, sometimes fathers are the breadwinner as well. I think I mean, a lot of fathers are being challenged about that. Am I really? Do I have to be?
Yeah.
Because we were told that we were supposed to do that, and their parents told us that, and their parents told us that. And,
Yeah.
um, I think now's the time really where people are starting to question all that.
Yeah.
So they naturally go back to their core beliefs, and I think sometimes people actually don't know what their core beliefs are. So this is
Yes.
also a period of discovery for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yes. And it's exciting, but it's also very challenging. It can be really difficult, especially for those of us who don't like a lot of change.
Yes, it's nerve wracking because people like to know what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. So some people might be thinking, well, how do I do this? How do I even start changing my core beliefs? And one of the things that one of the ways that I often explain it to people is it's just like wearing a different set of glasses. So we all have a set of glasses, or another way of saying it, a way of seeing the world.
Yes.
Some of us
Different
see
lens.
different lenses. Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And so trying on a new way of seeing the world or seeing other people or seeing ourselves is a beginning, is a start to doing that.
Yeah.
And so I have a prop, and one of my props is, just trying on a new set of glasses and seeing how that changes your perception or understanding of the world.
Good.
So, trying this on and, okay,
Yeah.
now what? Now what do I see about myself? Do I see myself in a different way? Do I see, instead of seeing my failures, do I now see, my successes, the things that I've done well? I may not be able to think of a whole bunch of things I've succeeded at, but I can think of one or two or three. Yeah. Trying on these glasses, if those don't quite fit, that doesn't, that just seems too sunshiny, or that doesn't seem real. Well, trying on another pair of glasses. How does this work for you? And I'm making it really fun, but it's really, and it can be really challenging, but it's really about, yeah, it's really about looking at different perspectives, different
Yeah.
possibilities, different, opening yourself to a new realization,
Yes. A new world.
a new world. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, the other way of doing that you and I had talked about is focusing, intentionally focusing on the positive things about yourself,
Mhm.
the positive things about others, and the positive things about your world. Gratitude can change your perception.
Yes.
So just being consciously and intentionally thankful for the things that are going right can shift your core belief from something like I'm a failure to I fail sometimes, but I'm pretty successful too,
Yeah.
you know? And we're going to be talking about that next week, actually changing our thoughts in a way that is not so rigid. It's not Pollyanna and rainbows and sunshine either, but it's more truthful. It's more thoughtful ways of thinking that are more adaptive and coping, as opposed to so rigid and all encompassing.
Yes, actually, I totally agree. I think it's one of the things I think is I've noticed for me is that I'm grateful for the things that I kind of took for granted.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful that I get to go out and get to explore, some of the new places in Alberta, right?
Yes.
The new hikes, and I'm grateful for the fact that I can actually physically go do that.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of things I've noticed lately, particularly in the last weekend and the weekend, where I've just really thought about that, just being grateful
Yeah.
for what I have.
Yeah.
Right. Because people think they don't have a lot, but if you really think about it, we do. We have our
Yeah.
families, and I'm grateful for spending the time, with my family, and I'm grateful for the fact that I get to know them more.
Yeah.
So I think that's for me, that's an important part, right? That gratitude, right? And it helps me get over the stress, I find, right? So I was chatting with my son Noah about that the other day about going back to school, and it's his first year in high school. And and I was saying, you're so lucky you get to start a brand new part of your life.
Yeah.
And he said, well, COVID, I don't know what it's going to look like. And I said, yes, it's going to be a brand new adventure for you, right? It's important for you to take advantage of that and to
Yeah.
think about that.
Yeah. And I always say to people, your life can be going really, it can be really challenging, can be really difficult, and it can be really hard to find something that you're thankful for. But
Yeah.
it can be as easy as the sun rose for me today.
Yes.
It could be as simple as I've got clothes on my
Yeah.
back.
Or I can eat
Sometimes,
vegetables, and I
yeah,
can get fresh food now.
yes. Yeah. So sometimes you have to get pretty basic, but
Yep.
it is still important to be thankful for those things, because there are times when we don't even have those.
Yeah, and
But
I think, it helps us be thankful of the tiny little things that
yeah,
originally we never thought were important, but they
that's right.
are.
Yeah.
like our freedom to go outside, and that's always been taken for granted, right? But there was a
Yeah.
time where it was being challenged.
Absolutely. And who knew
Yeah.
ever? Who would have ever predicted that going outside would have been something that wasn't allowed us?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Right. I mean, so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. So let's just, let's just do that. Let's just do a little mindfulness practice in gratitude right now. And it doesn't have to be anything formal, but just, taking a moment to relax into where you are, to be focused on this present moment, and start by thinking of one one person that you are grateful for. So thinking of your community, your family, or even the people that you've run into in the last few days. Think of one person that you're thankful for and just bring them to mind. And after a few moments of focusing in on that person, think about one activity that you've been able to enjoy in the last little while, and think about an activity that you've been grateful for, that you've been thankful to have been able to participate in. You can put as much detail in it as you want, or imagine yourself back in that activity, whatever feels good. And then think about a place that you've been in, that you know about. Think of one place that you are grateful for. And then this one might be a bit more challenging, but equally as important. Think about yourself, and one thing about yourself that you're really thankful for. Could be a quality or a character trait or something that you've done, something you've felt. One thing about yourself that you're grateful for. And then lastly, let's focus on the coronavirus pandemic. For all that it's offered you in the last 6 months, what's one thing that you're grateful to have experienced or to have learned as a result of the coronavirus pandemic? And then take a moment to scan your body, your mind, your heart. Do you notice anything different? Has anything changed for you in this last couple of minutes by focusing on gratitude? And they say that practicing gratitude every day can change the way you feel and the way you think. So think about it as your daily vitamin.
Mhm.
Practicing gratitude every day is your vitamin for boosting immunity and happiness. It's like a natural antidepressant.
That's a good way to describe it, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did that feel for you, Steve?
Good. Actually, it's funny when you brought all those things up. I've been thinking the same thing this whole weekend.
Wow.
But how grateful I am for, having the things in my life.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's a survival technique, right? When I start to get depressed or I start to get really anxious, um, then I just automatically think about the things that I do have.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, where you mentioned the core beliefs. I think that's where the core beliefs come in because they're part of that whole thought process.
Yes.
I'm grateful for having the opportunity to be outside because that's what I believe in. That's one of my core beliefs, right? Is, our freedom to be able to go and participate in things. It's
Yes.
so important to me, right? I think for everyone to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, as we're going into this school year, this another round of fall, this new season, I just encourage people to really focus on the gratitude, the thankfulness, the part that you're thankful for, even if it is, thankful for that beautiful red color that's appearing in the leaves. I'm trying to focus on being thankful for my kids to be reunited with their friends, thankful
Yeah,
for the teachers who are willing to come and be at the school and teach them in a very different time. Thankful for the rest that I'll be able to have that I haven't had for 6 months, where I get a little bit of me time, little time to do a little bit of nurturing for
yeah,
myself apart from my kids. And then, encouraging people to really think about those core beliefs and how they're helpful or how they're not helpful, or a little bit of both.
mhm,
And then, just encouraging people to have that little bit of courage and determination and openness to fiddling with their core beliefs so that they can be managed or transformed to be more helpful and coping and adaptive in this particular time of our life.
yeah, I totally agree. I think now is the time to do it. I think it's perfect timing. It's
Yes.
also, from a natural perspective, the fall is always a time for reflection,
Yeah.
and time, to think about all the things that we've done in the last 6 months and
Yeah.
how it's changed
Yeah.
and how we've actually overcome. So I think, resiliency is something I'm really grateful for
Yeah.
my friends and my family and my colleagues at work,
Yeah.
is that everyone's been really resilient, right? And refused to buckle under the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, actually, I think as far as our communities, I think we've done well.
Yeah. We've done really well. Yeah.
We've come out on the
Considering.
other side and we're stronger now for it.
Yes. Yes.
So,
And
yeah,
isn't that a changing of the glasses like that?
yeah,
Those are the glasses that will give us strength to see
yeah,
how strong we've been and how we can continue to be that
absolutely.
strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks, Steve. That's a great way to end this session.
Oh, thanks, Melanie.
So I'll
All
see
right.
you. Oh, I might not see you next week. It's a holiday. We'll see how that goes.
All right.
Have a
Okay.
good
Take care. Have
week.
a good week. Bye
Thanks,
bye.
you too. Bye-bye.